years out, you know? And they're recruiting the guy to help write the news stories for 1973 and 1968. And he's like, what? He's like, yeah, here, let me show you some of the news stories we already have planned for 1973. And he's playing the audio recordings and showing the models. This guy's like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, we've been doing this for decades. Oh, man, you guys. There's people like my sister right now shivering their ass off, ignorant as hell, demonizing people like myself, who had she listened to, along with the millions of other people just like her, we could have torn down all this infrastructure and all their shit would be over with. I'm telling you, you tear down their HARP bases, you take away their funding, you take away their government, their media. They can't do this to us. This is all being done to us because we're ignorant to what's actually going on. My sister is a super ignorant person, as are most Americans, and she likes it that way. Because anytime you start to tell her something, she starts making noise. Oh, I don't want to hear about it. Just stop talking. Go home. It's like, God, what's wrong with you? What, you can't entertain the idea of information? And now, look at her, freezing her ass off, and she needs to go over to my mom's house because the power's still on over there. And you know what? This is just getting started, you guys. What's going on right now, this is just getting started. It's just going to get worse and worse with time. Next time, my sister's not going to be able to go over to my mom's house because the power's going to be out there too. Then you're really going to be up Schitt's Creek. Everywhere you're going to be freezing your ass off. You know, had my sister tuned into my videos, I told everybody what to do. I told everybody what to do last year. I said, they're going to do this to us in the winter. You better go out and get some propane tanks. And Darrell, Darrell's not out there right now because his power's off. But Darrell's problem, even though I love him, man, and he's freezing his ass off in the sheets in Houston right now, he really only cares about my sports work. I'm not too into the other stuff. I'm just into the sports and proving to people sports are rigged. That's not enough, you guys. He missed all the videos on go out and get some damn propane tanks. I talked to him yesterday on the phone. I said, you got propane and stuff? He's like, no. I said, man, I told you to get all that. I told you to have a propane stove. And I did. I told you guys several times. We've been covering this shit all year. I wrote a book about it. You know, nobody can say I didn't call this. It's in the book. It is, hold on. Where's the darkest winter? Chapter 7. Chapter 7. Right here. So. And you guys really should go out and support the book. And if you're too broke to support the book, I made it free. The ebook, I didn't make the physical book free. I can't do that. I'm not rich. Book hardly sold any copies. I was hoping you guys would go out and buy the books. We'd have some resources to, get the word out further, but people don't read anymore. But I did make the ebook version free on my Patreon page if you want to go download it. Patreon.com/Zachary K. Hubbard. The U.S. have had the power grid down. I've been fortunate that the power grid didn't come down here in this small town, but, Portland, where I'm from, the power grid's been down. And you know what? My sister, they've been without power for 3 days, so they're staying at my mom's house. And I almost feel like my mom should have been cruel and told her to stay in her cold-ass house and freeze her ass off because she deserves it. Because my sister's one of the really ignorant people who hates any talk of like the type she thinks I'm a psychopath for exposing this and talking about this information. She thinks I have some sort of mental illness. She's super ignorant. She thinks nothing's wrong in the world. And, even right now, she would just say all this is a coincidence. That's why, honestly, I think my sister deserves to freeze her ass off in her house. But, and she's been rude to my mom, too, because my mom's been trying to wake her up to all this stuff. And I think my mom should have said, you know what, Jen? You deserve to freeze right now. You can just freeze your ass off in your house for all your ignorance, and you can think about how brain dead you've been. Because, really, that's the reality. I don't feel bad for anyone right now who's suffering, who's one of these types of people like most Americans. They're like, oh, conspiracy theory, that's so dumb. They're getting exactly what they deserve right now. Now, meanwhile, I feel bad for all the people who are awake and who are freezing their ass off, like my friend Darrell in Houston, who's, he right now, him and his lady are covered up in the blankets, like holding each other, just trying to stay warm. I feel terrible for them. I feel terrible for all the people like that. But, the majority of people in Houston are probably ignorant-ass people just like my sister. And honestly, they all deserve to be frozen like popsicles, and I'm not joking. These people are what's wrong with the world because they think they know it all. They don't know jack shit, and they're the reason these things are still going on. If they'd all wake up and join forces with what we're trying to do here, we could shut this down. But anyway, going to go through all this stuff again. So again, from the day this album released to Valentine's Day, 142 days, and this is when all the crazy weather came, and we saw that this was going to come. Because again, at the beginning of the year, well, I'll get to why. I first picked the date as January 15th, and nothing happened that day, and then I went back to the drawing board. I said, okay, what's the next date that makes sense? And I'll show you why I thought it might be January 15th at first, but then I said, Valentine's Day has the same numbers. But let's just go over everything again. So Houston, Texas got it the worst. A lot of places are getting it bad, but Houston's getting it the worst because they're used to hot weather down there. They're not used to cold winters. You know, most days in the winter are probably around 50 degrees. If it gets real cold down there, it's probably in the 30s. But man, they're in the single digits. It's been 5 degrees there in Houston. They are not used to that. And to make a point, you know, we're up where I live in the Pacific Northwest. We're used to, you know, it being in the 30s in the winter. I don't think it's ever gotten to 5 degrees up here in my lifetime. And we live up in the north. But anyway, Houston, Texas had that gematria 46, like Great Reset. All these things go together. The darkest winter, the Great Reset, what you gonna do when the grid goes down. And the man who's behind the Great Reset and the World Economic Forum is Klaus Schwab. And again, from his birthday to Valentine's Day was exactly 46 weeks. Their motto, he's a Jesuit. The Jesuit motto, we're going to, again, see how the Jesuits are behind all this. And I'm going to show you how you people in Texas, you should all funnel down to Austin, Texas, and go to this power company that controls all of your power down in Jesuit Austin, Texas. I've told you guys a million times. Austin is Jesuit town. That's why that Jesuit shill, what's his name, Alex Jones operates out of there. That's why that other Jesuit shill, Joe Rogan's gone there. And think about those two idiots. Those are the two voices of the truth community, and they're both full of shit. But anyway, from Klaus Schwab's 82nd birthday to February 14th, exactly 46 weeks, the Jesuit motto is Order out of chaos, which in Latin, the way they write it, is Ordo ab chao, which is 82 and 46. You know, Fox News had the headline, Freezing to Death, about how bad it is in Texas. Freezing to Death, 82. This started on Valentine's Day, which has the gematria 74, like cold. And Fox News also did the headline Lone Star Freeze, which is 74. And get a load of this. The power company in Texas that controls the energy there is ERCOT. I'm sure they replaced Enron. But ERCOT is 74 like energy, right? And then here's the bigger trip. Their full name, the Electric Reliability Council of Texas. Look at it. Has the gematria of 172, like what you gonna do when the grid goes down, like Public Enemy, 172. And again, they operate out of Austin. They're out of Austin. And remember, Austin is the exact same as Jesuit in all 4 base ciphers. Oh, I also forgot to tell you, the Jesuit motto Ad Merum Dei Gloriam, which means for the greater glory of God. If you read about historians who've documented the evils of the Jesuits, that's a phrase they often say before they do evil things, like murder people, probably take down the power grid in Texas. And again, it's the same Jesuits that control your media and have scared you about Islamic terrorists that they've made up for boogeymen on TV, who supposedly say, Allahu Akbar, God is great. It's really the Jesuits who say phrases like that before they conduct their terrorism. But notice, in the 4 base ciphers, Austin and Jesuit, the exact same. The exact same. And if you're new here, the 4 base ciphers are the alphabetic order, to where Austin and Jesuit are 84. The alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, Austin and Jesuit 21. What year are we in that they're doing this? 2021? In the 21st century? And again, if you're new here, you guys, this knowledge pays big dividends. Did I not tell you guys on January 2nd that Bitcoin would be worth between $45,000 and $50,000 on Valentine's Day? Because I sure did. You can go back and watch that video. And how much was it worth on Valentine's Day? It got up to $48,000. And it just passed $50,000 the other day. And again, it's all ritual. The Jesuits control Bitcoin. They control pretty much all financial instruments. They control your media, your government, your military, your weather. Jesuits, New World Order. But anyway, Austin, Jesuit, the exact same in all 4 base ciphers. The alphabetic order, both 84. The alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, considered the most pure cipher, both 21. The reverse alphabetic order, just meaning running Z is 1 back to A is 26. They both equal 78. Remember, Tesla equals 78 in that cipher. And on the 78-year anniversary of Nikola Tesla, Elon Musk became the richest man in the world. Shows you what a Jesuit puppet he is. And then the reverse alphabetic order at the rules numerology, Austin is 42, just like Alex Jones. His birthday is February 11th, the 42nd day of the year, the good little Jesuit puppet shill. But again, you guys, just how perfect these rituals are. How perfect they are.